Pre-Calculus 1.6 to 1.9 test review. This video is going to kind of walk you through the review and remind you how to do some problems, but not fully work out each problem. For problems 1 and 2, we're graphing these functions. Make sure you look back in your notes and remember what the square root function looks like, and the transformations that are applied in each of these examples will help you graph. If you want to, you can use a table to find points for your equation to graph. For problems 3 and 4, I've given you a function that's graphed, and you're going to apply transformations. So for problem 3, you're going to take the graphed function and move it down 6 and reflect it across the axis. Same thing with 4. So 4, you're going to be moving it left or right, and then up or down, just depending on the transformations that I gave you in the problems. For problems 5 through 10, we're finding the domain of each function. Remember, the problems that we have with domain is, first of all, we can't divide by 0. So any of these examples that have a fraction going on, make sure that whatever value makes the denominator 0, or values, are left out of the domain. And then also, we can't have a negative inside the square root. So we can't take the square root of -5. So the ones that have radicals in them, 8, 9, and 10, that's what you're looking for. For problems 11 through 18, I've given you functions f and g at the top. And we are either adding them, subtracting them, multiplying, dividing, or doing composition. First of all, keep in mind that this is the composition symbol. It's not multiplication, so make sure we're not multiplying on those problems. And then 11 through 16 looks like we're just evaluating at x, so we're not plugging in a value for x at all. We're just leaving x as x. But 17 and 18, we are going to evaluate at either 2 or 3. For problems 19 through 22, we are finding the inverse of f of x algebraically. Remember, that means we're going to replace f of x with y, and then we're going to switch our x and our y and solve for y. In the end, make sure you replace y with f of -1 of x, which stands for the inverse of f. For problem 23, we're going to prove that these two functions are inverses. Look back in your notes and recall how to do that. We're going to use composition here. There's going to be 2 things that you need to do. We're going to find f composed with g and g composed with f and see what those equal. 24, we're going to draw a graph of a function that would not have an inverse. For 25 through 27, you are drawing the inverses of the graph. Remember, your inverses just reflect across the line y equals x. So take each of these graphs and reflect them across this line. Examples 28 and 29, we're finding distance and midpoint. So look back at your notes and find those formulas. For problems 30 and 31, we're writing an equation of a circle in standard form. I give you the center and the radius, so it's pretty easy just to plug those in. For 32, we're going to go backwards. You need to find the center and the radius, so it's kind of the opposite of what we're doing in 30 and 31. For 33, we're graphing the circle, so find the radius, find the center, graph the circle. And finally, in 36 and 37, we are using completing the square in order to write this in standard form. So focus on the x's, complete the square, focus on the y's, complete the square, and then you will have your equation in standard form, and you can identify the center and the radius.